Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Wizard Engineer. In today's video, we're going to learn loops in JavaScript. We're going to know what is a loop, how to declare a loop, and we're going to see how we can use loop with arrays. If you are not familiar with arrays, go check it out, the previous video where we talked about arrays. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, what is a loop? In computer programming, a loop is a sequence of instructions that is continually repeated until a certain condition is met. At the left side, we have an image where I illustrated how exactly a loop works. Here, as you can see at the right side, we have a syntax of a loop. And a loop has three arguments within it. It have a variable which is declared, then followed by semicolon, followed by the condition, and the first things the loop is checking if the value is true. If the value is true, the loop is going to get immediately into the body and start executing instruction. But if the condition is false, the loop is gonna stop executing. That's how it works. At the right side, look here, we have defined an array of numbers, and within the loop we declare I, and we initialize it by 0, and we're getting the length of our array, which is 5, and if I is less than 5, we are going to increment our value. We are going to add up I variable by 1. It means we are going to console hello world 5 times. But also we have a while loop. A while loop works like the same. Here, a while loop has only one condition, true. If a condition is still true, our loop is going to continue executing. Here we have defined let x, and we initialize it by 0, and then we are saying if x is less than 10, we are going to add up x every time x is less than 10. We are going. Now let's get into code. So here we have an HTML file. Within the body tag, we have a script tag links to loops.js file, where we are going to put our JavaScript code. Okay, we are going to create a loop that is going to count to 10. Okay, we are going to use first the for loop. For it has 3 arguments. First we have to define definition of variable, then condition and incrementation. These are 3 parts of the loop, and then the body. Here we have the body of the loop. Now let's create our loop. Let I is equal to 0, I is less than 10. We are going to increment I by 1. Console.log I say I value val. Here I val, and yeah, we are getting I val till to 9 here. It means when our I is a 10 has reached 10 value, the condition will be directly set to false, and our loop isn't going to get into the body because the condition is false. That's how it works. Now let's create a loop that is going to say hello 5 times. For example, let's create a loop that is going to say hello world 5 times, 10 times. Yeah, 10 times. If you modify here to 5, it's going to say hello world 5 times. But if we put here 0, the condition is false. It ain't gonna executing the body. And now let's see how we can create now a loop to iterate through an array. We can use loops especially when we want to iterate through an array. In previous video about arrays, I've showed you how to declare an array. Okay, we learn how to declare an array, and to access items within an array, we can write the name of the array and square brackets and then the position of the item that we want to get access. Suppose you have an array of hundreds of items within it. To get access to all items within an array, if you want to access all items, for example, you can do access item 1 at the 0 position, the second position, maybe third position, which is 2 index, and then you're going to be tied, and you continue. You're going to be tied. Your array length is 1 has 100 items. It means you have an array of 100 items, and you want to display all items within an array. You want to iterate. Now, to do that easily, we use loops. We are going to iterate through an array. Suppose here we have a big array. Say big array of numbers. Let's say 2, 9, okay, 10. Okay, let's say we have this array. Let's consider it is a big array, and then we want to display all items within this array. We are going to declare loop for let's I. You can use let's, for example, index is equal to 0 index, and then we're going to say big array dot length. We're getting the length of the array, and then index plus plus. Index is going to increment every time index is less than the big array dot length. And then here we are going to console items, the name of the array, the big array of numbers, and then we are going to access index. Here we are getting all items within our big array. Here we are starting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Here we are getting all items within our big arrays using loop. That's how we can iterate through an array using loops. Let's see now how to use a while loop. This is another loop in JavaScript. Do while. We're going to see while loop. Then while loop has only one argument. We have to pass it only one argument. Let's say we declare let x is equal to 0, and then let's put this inside a function. For example, count to 10, and then here we declare a variable within our function, and then we say while x is less than 10, we are going to increment. We are going to add up x by 1, x plus plus. once x is gonna attain, is gonna reach 10, our loop is going to start, because here our while loop is checking true value. Why we are getting here true while x is less than 10? The loop is gonna remain executing the body. It's gonna remain in the body. It's gonna remain in the body. Let's see. Okay, console.log while loop is incrementing x, and then here we're going to display the value of x. Next thing we have to do, we have to call our function count to 10. Let's call our function count to 10, and here we are getting x is while loop. We are displaying while loops operations. While loop is incrementing x1, 2, 3. Once x has reached, sorry, once x has become, sorry, once x has reached 10 value, our loop has started. That's how while loop works. As I showed you, while loop in the diagram, this is the syntax of while loop. Here we pass it a boolean, and then here instruction in the body. This is the syntax of it. Now that's all we are going to see in this video. In next one, we are going to see objects, and we are going to mix it up again, everything we have seen in previous video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I see you in the next one.